Recording. Hello, Sharon.
Hi.
We are here.
Yay, we're here.
Do you want to do a quick test?
Sure.
Okay. Um, Interview. So talk about it and possibly use this. What do you think?
Yeah. All
Let's see
right.
how it goes. Okay. After many glitches with Zoom, we're here. And we're starting with this crazy project called Abracadabra Sisters. And the word abracadabra means I create as I speak. So we are exploring the power of creativity and the power of our words. So do you want to say anything, Sharon, about that introduction?
Yes. First of all, I am Sharon and this is Muriel, and we are
Yes.
the Abracadabra sisters. We are we have something in common, and we both love to create. We have different areas in which we create, and we want to not just share our creativity with you, but we also want to share your creativity with everyone else. We're going to devote this site to interviewing and people who have creative endeavors, and share with everyone how they came about doing what they do and why they do it and what it's brought into their lives. But to start with, we thought it would be a good idea to interview each other so that we can introduce ourselves to you. So this is my sister Muriel. I am Sharon. And Muriel, why don't you share with everyone the kind of creative endeavors that you embark upon?
Okay. Well, first of all, I have to say we both get this from our mom and our dad, but mostly from our mom, who was she was a couturier. She built beautiful clothes as a profession, both for streetwear for children and then also for the theater or television in London. So my early days, I remember being in the costume shop. I was so young they wouldn't let me do anything but clean the pins. I think they kept me quiet by making me clean the pins. So anyway, getting the rust off them in that little sandy part of the pin cushion. Anyway, so we get our creativity from our mom. From a kid, I was making crazy things like making myself shoes or making clothes for my doll. And our mom said she had not a Barbie doll. They were too expensive for us. They had the second grade down, the Tressie doll that had a lot of hair. And anyway, so I was making the clothes for my doll
Did,
because
did you have to pull it? Did you have the one where you
you
had
had to
to
pull it out,
pull
right?
the hair out and make it longer?
Yeah, you could wind
Remember
it back in
that?
again, right? So then, so mommy said, if you want some clothes for that doll, you just bloody well gonna have to make them yourself. So that's what we did, right?
It was rough at first.
It was
We got
rough.
better,
We got better. Yeah, they were pretty raggy at the beginning.
especially with a little hand wind sewing machine.
Oh yeah, with the hand round hand. That was a great thing. I haven't seen one at the flea market yet, but if I see one, I'm gonna have to get it, I think, because they were pretty cool. So anyway, so let's see, that's where it all began. It went into high gear for me in when we first came to this country. We're both English, born in England, born in Yorkshire. And then we came to the US in, do I want to say, Sharon, a long time ago.
Yeah, we have to go
A
there.
long time ago. And for some reason, our parents got involved with being in a new country, meeting new people, trying to, fit in. They got involved in the local theater. And so that was, I think that's where I got the theater bug. It's a disease that you catch. And then once you caught it, you can't get out of it. I don't know how my sisters managed to stay out of it. But anyway, I ended up in the theater, television, worked for the Muppets. I did not design, but I did make Miss Piggy's and Kermit's clothes. That's the claim to fame that people get so much more excited about than just about anything else I've ever done. So, but it was fun. And I designed a few shows for ABC and Jim Henson Productions, and worked as an assistant. And now I make art and I write. So the reason that I were saying all this, and the reason that I want to share this, is because my creativity is what keeps me alive and vital and enjoying my life. I can't imagine when people ask me, how does it get so much done? Why are you always doing something? And I say, I'm just afraid that if I stopped, I'd get into some serious trouble. I'd be like street walking and, buying drugs or drinking myself, eating bonbons all day. I don't know what it is. I do enough television watching already that, but I can watch TV and sew at the same time. And I'm just happier when I'm like stitching something or drawing something or writing something or just creating something, arranging some flowers and keeping the house looking beautiful. So that's me in a nutshell, I guess. If you can fit it in. I'm sure more will come up, right? More will come up. So Sharon, so my question for you then is, what is your relationship to creativity, and how do you express it?
Well, we both kind of came out of the same petri dish, so the roots are the same. I can remember as a kid, mommy making costumes for the theater group, and the sewing machine was always whirring in the background, and where the TV was on, or she'd sit in front of the TV and she'd be hand sewing things, and she made all our clothes. And was a clothes hound. I wanted to look good. I wanted to be dressed well when this is initially as a teenager. I had visions I was going to go into the fashion industry. And so I would pour through the Vogue magazines and pick outfits I wanted to wear, and I would show them to mommy, and she would make them.
Really?
Yes.
She made them for
remember
you?
my Dr. Zhivago coat? When Dr.
I don't
Zhivago
remember
came
that.
out on Vogue, there was a woman. She had the
I remember the coat.
She
Yeah.
had the cuffs.
Yeah.
She had a muff. She had the little hat. She had boots up, and it was a midi coat.
And you had the whole thing.
You wear mini skirts, but I wanted that long midi coat with the fur in the bottom. And it was, of course, ridiculous in the shops. But mommy made it for me. She made it.
You are so lucky. She made me make all my own clothes. I never made anything old enough until we were little. We were little. She was making clothes for us. Right. We all wore the same dresses. We'd have identical dresses, and I hated that because my little sisters are following me around in the same dress. But she said, I don't care what you think. If I lose one of you, I can point to the other one and say, she's wearing that.
I know.
That's how we'll find her.
That was the way of keeping us all together.
Yeah.
That Dr. Zhivago coat, I remember all the kids were wearing like little flat Pizio shoes and mini skirts, shivering at the top. And I walked up, I had boots, I had the muff, I had the hat. I was dressed to the nines.
I love it.
I was so comfortable. They teased the hell out of me because it was not in school yet. And I mean, it was like a year ahead of what people would be wearing.
I had the same experience because I made a midi skirt for myself. They were only in the magazines. They weren't even in the shops yet. They were only in the magazines. So I made a midi and I wore it to school, and a fight broke out around me because one gang of girls was like teasing me and like pulling on my skirt and saying, are you wearing underwear under that? That kind of like juvenile nonsense. And then this other gang of girls came over like, leave her alone. And we ended up in the principal's office.
Why did we never even think about conforming? I never even thought to conforming to what everybody else was doing. I wanted to wear what I wanted to wear. I wanted to wear, I wanted to look.
Well, especially if it's on the front cover of the magazine.
Right. When I hit 13, 14, maybe 15. I don't remember. I got to a certain age where mommy said, you can make your own now.
Yeah.
So I think you'll remember. She got us to a point. I always dressed a little rough there. I remember one time making myself a dress that was like I had great ideas, but I was trying to pin it on me, and there was right.
Yeah. When you don't have a mannequin, it's really hard to get it right.
Right.
Well, but I'll tell you quickly about my like one huge mistake. The mistakes are the fun ones. I crocheted myself a bikini out of navy blue, like cotton, cotton yarn. So I crocheted this fabulous bikini. It was very stylish at the time. And I dove into the ocean at Jones Beach, and the whole thing stretched and started to leave. I was like grabbing it on all sides, trying to keep it back on my body and like ducking under the water to retie it, because it was just like completely coming undone.
I had a similar situation because I made myself a white swimsuit for a pool party. I wanted that white swimsuit, didn't line it.
Where you can see everything through.
I'm at the pool trying to get someone to come and bring me a towel so I can step out. When I looked down, I could see right through it. And I wasn't that old that there was much to look at, but at that age, everything is so embarrassing.
Everything, right. Well, if we do post this, if we end up, maybe we will be posting this as our first interview, they're going to hear all the dirty, dark secrets.
This is what's going to make it fun, right? Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to move on from that. I started in the fashion world, but I did not get into educating myself in actual fashion. I went to FIT and I studied clothing design. I did some fashion design, but in menswear, it was harder getting a job in women's wear, and I got very quickly disillusioned with fashion. And it became more important to me to like make a salary. So I kind of got myself a job, and I'm working at like an everyday job. Don't even want to get into that. There is some creativity in the workplace, but let's talk about what I do when I get home. The things I dream about when I'm making a spreadsheet, which can be very creative, I will say. But the things I dream about are making needle points and designing my own. I've never looked at a pattern, a needlepoint pattern that comes with the yarn, those little packages. I've never looked at one of those and said, oh, I want to make that. Because that's somebody else's idea. I've never looked at those and thought, oh, that's for me. Once in a while, I'll see a pattern that appeals to me, and I will take what I like of it and then go somewhere with it, make it where I want. I use it as a stepping stone to get to the idea that I have in my head.
Yeah, that's good.
But I used to write all through school. I wrote poetry. I've got lots of poetry floating out there. But I like making things with my hands. I like doing that too. So writing, it's what's funny is when we were growing up, Muriel was the artist and I was the writer. Well, they always told us, oh, Sharon's the writer, Muriel's the artist. But we were all creative in all areas at all times. And giving into like having that label kind of limited us to a certain extent. Like I didn't think in terms of like, oh, I could be an artist too.
Well, to get to our theme, I create as I speak. It's not just I create as I speak, but it's I create as someone else speaks too. Like Mommy would say to me, oh, Muriel, your artist, your thing, you're so good at art, you'll never make a living at art. And that was programming. And it kind of stuck in me, and it's taken me years to break away from that concept. The ideas are very sticky and can be very damaging. So
because you are their whole world.
Yeah.
But you tell them you're their first source of information, and why would they question anything you tell them as a parent?
Yeah.
So limiting your children is one of the cruelest things you can do, by like not giving them the wings they need to fly in whatever direction they
Yeah.
choose to fly.
Yeah. 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 And I do remember at one point in my career, like being really upset and saying to someone, I won't say who it was, but that saying that I was really, it's not fair. I don't get paid enough for this. I think it was part of my own, like, stuck in my mind kind of an idea. I don't get paid enough. And they said to me, but you love your art, don't you? And I said, yeah, but I should still get paid for it.
Right, right,
And even
right.
though I love for it, I said, don't you love your work, which was like office work? And they were like, yeah, I love my work. I said, well, maybe, maybe I should get paid the same. If you love your work and I love my work, we should both get paid the same. So that, if we can, in these conversations, break those programming moments,
Right.
that would be, that would make me happy. I like to break my own. I'm working on it. Have been working on it my entire life.
Right.
If we can help other people break those moments where something was created through speech that your own or someone else's, that doesn't help or serve anymore, we're going to look for ways to undo that. I think
exactly.
I think we can go back to speaking about our histories. You'll get more information as we go along, but I think what we're going to try to do is invite people who are experts in that field of how to speak your truth and manifest as you want to. We're going to invite people who are out there doing great things, like some of the people we have in mind. Or a friend of mine is a chef, and we have other artists that we can speak to, and people who are writing, and we have a fabulous musician who is a friend of ours. So we want to find out from all of these people what it is that they are doing, that how it nourishes them and how they get it done, I think. So
also, it's it's important to see the other side of it too. For those of you who don't think you're creative, maybe it's not that you don't think that you're creative. Maybe it's that someone told you you're not creative. Maybe it's that you don't think that you can make money out of being creative. Maybe it's just that you don't recognize that you are creative and you don't see it.
yeah.
So I would like to actually have people here that maybe are not making money off their creativity, but it feeds their soul, because it doesn't necessarily have to put food on the table if it feeds your soul. And
yeah.
I know that, like, the job that I do day in, day out would be soul sucking if I didn't come home and do the creative stuff that I choose to do when I'm home. And in a way, it's an expression of the real me, the me that I have to kind of set aside when I walk into the workplace.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have them all integrated in one. And in a perfect world, that would be great.
Well, that's part of our process here too, Sharon. We are in this idea of I create as I speak. We're in an interesting time now. Many people are talking about the shift of the ages, and we can see it happening in our world now, certain shifts in consciousness, and then we have got different technologies coming and everything. And so we are, as a human race, in a place where we need to start making some new choices and creating some new realities for ourselves. So it would be nice to have some futurists come and and have a talk about what is it that, how do we want our lives to be? I mean, for me, some of the things I think I want people to be, I want to be able to go and be wherever I am and just be me, be the real me, be frank and kind, and and listen and share.
Not care if they can't take the real you, because it really, you shouldn't have to worry about that. You shouldn't have to put you in a bottle. You shouldn't have to put that aside. I know there's parts of me that my coworkers know nothing about.
Yeah.
Some of my coworkers may know something about, but you're right. And part of my dream has been, oh, when I retire, I can just spend all day making creative things. When I can afford to retire, I'm gonna spend and then part of me thinks, oh, if I'm retired, am I just gonna like doom scroll every day? Am I?
No, I'll have to tell you, there'll be an equal amount of time of doom scrolling. There'll be an equal amount of time of playing games. Considering that I've been sort of retired, but still working as an artist and still writing, still trying to create big projects. There's a lot of other things going on as well, you know?
Well, the thing is, my choice would be to not look at it as retiring, but as like a career change.
Yes.
Moving from my lucrative
office career.
office career to creating for whatever it brings in a monetary basis. I don't know, but just I had to like divorce myself from the idea of having to make money off my creativity. Not because wouldn't like to, of course I would like to, but I don't want to get into a mindset of only creating things that other people will find value in. Right now, it's so important to me that I express how I feel in what I create. I mean, the project I just spent 2.5 years on was a grief project, and it was like it was a needlepoint of our mother's face, because missing her was so so ever present in my being that I had to look at her face every day. And I created her face in needlepoint, and it took a long time, probably more because I'm a perfectionist. I had to keep ripping out bits and redoing them, but also more because maybe I wasn't ready to let go. And it took me those 2.5 years to get through that project, to get through the grief process that it helped facilitate. So for me, for me right now, art is a pouring out of me, less than it is giving me to you.
Yeah. I had the same project as you did. I did a portrait of Mummy right after she died, of me and Mummy together, and it was hard. And
Yes,
it's hard. It's hard to do that, and I'm not thrilled with it. But at some point, you just have to put down the paintbrush and let it.
You put the paintbrush down long before I put down the needle.
I did a long time ago. No, but I feel I succeeded, I think. But at some point, we'll show people our work; they'll see it. So yeah. What else? We would like people to share their work, to share their creativity. So we're going to create some space for that, some community space for that, and a website, and of course in the chats of YouTube chat, I think. So we'll find a way to. We're newbies. It took us what, 40 minutes, Sharon, to figure out how to get this first recording happening.
We thought perhaps we weren't meant to record today. We thought perhaps maybe this was just a technology run through, because we just kept losing each other, losing audio, losing the connection. It was a comedy of errors.
Yeah,
we did get something going here.
Yeah, my camera kept following me because of the crazy program it was in. It's like, trying to figure it all out, trying to have a conversation with the technology is a creative effort in and of itself. You have to create a techno gene to converse with it. So yeah.
Well, speaking about that too, one thing I wanted to mention is in the world that we're in now, when they're talking about like AI being more and more present in our lives, and think more and more things being done by AI, it's a kind of like behooves us to find new ways to express ourselves that are not AI related.
Yeah.
I had a very funny experience with AI. Recently, I was attempting to get a AI to create a picture. And I had two pictures, and I wanted to like impose the face of one onto the body of another. And I was very explicitly explaining exactly what I wanted, and it just kept coming back not right. And I went through, I think it must have been about 30 or 40 minutes. And then finally it said, I'm sorry, you've reached your limit of AI. And
Yeah.
I never got the product I was looking for. I thought, okay, well, they need to work on this a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a crapshoot. You don't know what you're gonna get. I was trying to write a story, a kid's story, about a squirrel in New York City that has to go to Central Park because his house has been moved by the city, taking down a small garden on the Lower East Side. And so I'm writing the story, and every time an iteration of it came up, it was like so so sweet. And I realized part of the program was, if you say children's story, it's going to have this same tone every single, because at the end of every little section it said, and then the squirrel was very happy and everything worked out fine. It's like,
you know what, you should tell it to like model it along the language in Watership Down.
Oh, that's a way to do it. Yeah.
Because Watership Down is a children's story, but it's also an adult story. I mean, I listened to it again recently. I actually downloaded the audiobook and listened to it.
Yeah.
And if you pick some of those beautiful old classic children's stories where they're not like,
well, we're a lot further along than when I was trying that, which was right at the very beginning, like the second or third week they said ChatGPT was out. I started playing with it, and then I kind of let it go. So now it's a whole new world. I think it's learned so much more, and so maybe I'll give it another shot. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
I just kind of put it on the back burner for now.
Yeah.
I was trying to make images also for a work project I was doing, and I was trying to make a conference room full of people, and if you step way back, it looks like a room full of people, but you zoom in on the photo, and some of them have 8 fingers on their hand, some of them the nose is on sideways. Yeah, they need to work a little on the
right. I think they're a little past that now, maybe, but yeah, you do see some crazy things. So yeah. Anyway. So well, we could wrap it up now, I think. I don't know how long we were going to put a timer, but
we'll wrap it up for now. But
yeah,
in future, hopefully with our next video, we will interview somebody and talk to them about their creative endeavors, and have as much fun as we've had tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and we hope that you will all join us next time. Thanks. I'm Muriel. Bye.
Sharon, goodbye.